Good morning. I wanted to talk to everybody before next week. With school starting, I was able to talk to all of our faculty and staff yesterday about our return to school. I understand that there are a lot of questions, but I thought it was really important for us to make sure that as a faculty and staff, we were all on the same page. Although some things will be similar to last year, there are going to be some things that are a little different. And so I wanted to kind of do my best to give you a real quick overview and just understand that there will be more details that will come home and also on our website where you can read the fine print. But the 30,000 foot view will be this. We understand that when we left in the spring, we were hoping to leave COVID and put COVID on the shelf. Over the summer, we got very comfortable with being able to take our masks off in hopes that when we came back this year, we would be able to remain with our masks off. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. And one of the messages I said to the teachers yesterday was simply this. Our goal is to get students back in front of teachers. And that's really important because we recognized last year that that was our best model. Our best model is having kids in front of teachers being taught in person. And then our other goal is to keep everyone safe while they're here. And so as we approach this year, we were saying if it means having our kids masked for us to be able to do those two goals, then we're willing to do that. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time debating that because the goal for me is certainly that in-person learning. And I've said that all last year as well. While kids are here, the question is, okay, what will the masks look like and how will we be doing that? There will be a universal masking of students. We understand that kids can't wear masks all day long. Last year it was a 6 foot. If we can get to 6 foot, we will certainly do that, but with everyone back, that's not going to be possible at all times, so they're allowing us to go to 3 feet while we're masked. The idea is simply this. We're not going to prevent kids from coming back to school in person because we cannot keep a 6 foot distance. So if we can keep a 6 foot distance, we will. If we can't, we do the best we can, but we're also masked in that process. In the classroom, there are situations where there'll be a 6 foot distance. The kids will be able to have their masks off while they're sitting down, but the concept of stand up, mask up will still be in place. In situations where kids are right next to each other, we'll have their masks on, but we still have creative ways to give kids mask breaks so they won't be wearing masks all day long. When kids go outside, they will not have to wear masks, and so that's a good thing. When they're on the buses, they will have to wear masks all the time. We're going to be able to load our buses to capacity because that's the only way for us to get our kids into school. And while they're on the bus, though, they will have to wear their masks, and we will try to do things to help the airflow on the buses, but that'll be the toughest time with the masks because they'll have to wear them at all times on the bus. In the lunchroom, certainly we won't be able to have, when kids sit down, they'll be able to take their masks off and eat. As soon as they're done eating, they'll have to put their mask back on. And the common question here is, okay, it's not like they're not going to get COVID when they take their mask off and they're sitting and eating, but everywhere else they have to have their mask on. The way I've tried to explain that is if there are 5 opportunities where we can have the kids have the mask on, we will have them have the masks on during those 5 opportunities. But if there's only 3 out of 5 opportunities where we can have the kids have their masks on, then we're only going to be able to do 3 out of 5 opportunities to have those masks on. And 3 is better than 0 is the concept. I know that in some cases that does not make sense, but the idea is if we can do it, we will do it. So also for our performing arts, we're going to be able to do a better job with that this year and hold practices and hold concerts hopefully a little bit later. Our hope is certainly that as time goes on, restrictions get loosened. We're going to start tighter and hope that as time moves on, we'll be able to release some of these restrictions for sure. But we'll be able to have concerts differently than last year. There'll be more details with that on the website in terms of how that's going to function. In athletics, since it's outside, there's not going to be any restrictions with fans coming to our athletic events. There are not going to be any attestations that you have to sign off as you go into the athletic events. While the students are playing, there are not going to be any masks on the kids while they're playing. However, when the kids are on the sidelines and huddled close, if we can't spread them out, that point they'll have to put their mask up. If a coach at the end of the game calls a huddle, that would be a concept where the kids would put their mask up, or if the coach can keep them separated, we're good, and we don't need to do that. One of the other big pieces too is our nurses will have discretion this year with when kids are sent home. Since tests will probably cost money at this point, we're not going to force people to have to take tests. But if you want to take a test, you can. And here are the different scenarios that will occur. If a student has symptoms, this is no different than any other year, they would be sent home. They would have to be symptom-free for 24 hours before they can return. So if a student is sent home, if within 24 hours they don't have a fever or they're symptom-free, they can come back to school. If they come back to school and have symptoms, they will be sent back home. If a student is sent home with symptoms, and you as a family want to take your child and get tested, and you get a rapid test, last year it was a PCR test, if you get a rapid test and return your child to school with a negative test, they will be able to return back in. If you also have your child sent home from school and you know they have seasonal allergies, and you go to your doctor and your doctor's able to say that and get an alternate diagnosis, that can bring your student back to school quicker as well. So those are going to go through the nurse. The nurse is going to have more discretion this year, and those conversations will be had between you and the nurse. Those students who are vaccinated, for the most part, will not get quarantined, but we need to expect quarantines again. If your child is vaccinated and we have to go into a tracing situation, and we understand that if the child tells us that they're vaccinated and we can prove that, then they, as long as they are symptom-free, will not be sent home during that quarantine. And so, other than that, the way we will do our tracing, I will work with Department of Health and try to basically be really critical with who we're let's say quarantining, where we're not going to necessarily send home a whole class if we don't have to, but maybe just the students around the child who tested positive would be the ones that go home. And so that will help us this year as well. In the end, again, we're not out of the dark here. And the thing I want all of us to concentrate on is the number one goal here is getting our kids back in school, because we understand what it was like last year when they weren't all here. And now that kids are coming back, and the excitement that I see in kids, and even in my own children as they come back and are excited to come back, and that's the stuff that we want to capture. That's the stuff that we want to focus on. And yesterday when I spoke to the faculty and staff for our first day for Superintendent Conference Day, I think we had a good conversation about that and understanding what we missed last year and for the last year and a half when we didn't have our kids here full time. It was definitely very different, and our world was very different. So we are making some progress. We are moving forward. We are going to have the kids here. We are going to make sure that we keep everything safe. And then the other big thing is we're getting a lot of federal money. And with that federal money, we're going to be able to do a ton of things for our children that we've never been able to do before. We've hired over 40 new faculty and staff that are going to be coming back and helping us to support the SEL gap as well as the academic gap. We're going to have opportunities for kids to come after school and get tutoring and get homework help. We're going to have opportunities we've ordered all kinds of new technologies for our kids when we already had all kinds of technology for our kids. In terms of safety, let's say devices that we use to clean, we were able to get all kinds of safety devices that we were able to clean and make sure that things are safe for our students and adults while we're here. We've been able to bring in a bunch of different agencies that are going to support us in this process over the next 3 years to help catch these kids up from what we feel they lost over the last 3 years. So adding teachers, we're adding another SRO officer at the elementary school. We're being able to do a lot of things, and I'll put that in writing so that people are able to see that. And at board meetings, I'm also putting all of that information out to the public so that you're aware, and we'll also put it on the website. So the website's going to be the #1 thing where you can get all this information. I can't necessarily do it in a video because there's too much stuff. But we're excited to have everybody come back. I want to keep stressing that. I know that we're not happy with the idea that we're still going to be having to mask kids, but we're going to do our best there, and our kids are going to be safe, and everything's going to be okay. And I promise you, we will do the best that we can with the resources that we have while we're working with your kids each day. So work with us. You always have as a community. I said it yesterday to the faculty and staff. We have an amazing community that always supports us. And any questions that you have, I'm more than willing to sit down and talk to you or try to answer for you the best I can. And our principals will be leading each of those buildings and giving more information out today to the teachers so that we're ready and prepared for our opening next week. So more information to come. This is the first video to kind of give you a big broad brush overview, but things are going to start to look more normal, and we're hoping that we can get through this school year in a more normal way. Thank you.